Another sunrise as the atoms of the universe revolve. Beauty in your eyes as the harmony of your intent resolve. They sowed discord, but they can't overthrow your melody. My friend and my Lord, I'll stay here and sing of you and me. And I'll stay with you. I'll stay, kept warm in the light of your truth. I will stay. Fading horizons as the sons of earth neglect to stay awake. But I'll make the difference through every single failure and mistake. I sought solution for everything that we were meant to be. My resolution will live forever in eternity. And I'll stay with you. I'll stay, keep warm in the light of my truth. I will I'll stay with you. I'll stay, keep warm in the light of my truth. I'll stay with you. I'll stay, keep warm in the light of my truth. And show you what love's meant to do. We'll show them what love's meant to do. I will stay.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a very... Oh, gosh. I didn't change the scene. Did I change the scene? Is this working? It looks... There we go. Sorry, welcome to a very unconventional episode of Let Him Cook. I'm talking in this microphone because I'm in Ohio and trying to control a lot of factors at once. I'm also using my iPhone as a camera, which is why you can see all of this stuff around the outside. So this is going to be really interesting. If there are technical issues with the audio, whatever, let me know. If we start having issues over on Instagram, remember to jump over to YouTube. I'm still figuring all that out. I don't know what causes that. But tonight, I'm making chicken curry. My uncle's in from Oklahoma. I'm here with my family in the 513. And so I'm making just a big double recipe of chicken curry with some basmati rice so that we have some leftovers to kind of hit over the next few days. I'm very behind. I still need to defrost my chicken. Go ahead and roast me in the comments. I already know it's coming because I've got to do it in the microwave. I'm weighing out my chicken right now. I need to get to 2 pounds. But in the meantime, thank you to everybody that's joining. and I'm glad you're here. So again, just let me know if there's any problems, if you're having a hard time hearing me. I'm going to have a very particular stage presence with this microphone today. And hopefully I can back away from it and not have to be right up in it for you guys to hear me. Sarah says she loves you. Mom. She says she loves you too. All right, so we're weighing out. Oh gosh, I just lost my scale. Just turned off. I got to zero it back. I got to take this chicken off. Got to zero it back out again. Use my knuckle. So the last few days, I'm still working. I work remote, but we've just kind of been running around, hitting all of our favorite restaurants here in Ohio. My uncle does this thing where whenever he's on vacation, he just checks out a new coffee shop every day, and my cousin does that as well. So we've kind of been doing that at the same time. I think I might end up having to use all this chicken. Just past, I'm at 20 ounces right now. 16 is a pound. So, and it's very frozen together, so this is super uncomfortable. All right, 24. We need to get to what? 32, right? 32 ounces is 2 pounds. I got the deepest pot I could find here. I hope I actually have enough space for a double recipe. Starting to look at it, I'm getting a little nervous. Okay, there we go. We used all but one chicken thigh. So I'm going to just set this other one to the side. So we're basically following the directions on the box tonight. Using the classic Japanese curry mix. We're going to be dicing up. We're using 2 pounds. We're doubling the recipe. So we're using 2 boxes of this stuff, 2 pounds of chicken, a bunch of onions, carrots, and potatoes. And that's basically all you need, plus some water and a little cooking oil. And then we will also do our basmati rice on the side. I might be moving a little slow tonight. This is not the kitchen that I'm normally in. This is our family's kitchen back home. And then also, I just don't have all the same tools. So the oven's a little different. I'm doing the rice traditionally tonight and not in the rice cooker. I know I'm a little rice cooker baby. I get it, but it's what I do. So that's what's up. And my family's just kind of hanging out in the living room behind me. Abby says you can't roast me while my family is here. You can. I give you permission. You can. I'm not going to let my engagement drop just because I'm home. They can't hear you. They can't see what you're saying anyway. They're like 20 feet away. Okay, we have our chicken thighs ready. We need to defrost this stuff, so I'm going to spread it out on the plate. Make sure it's not too clumped together. And my family actually they got a new microwave recently. So, I don't know. Okay, defrost. There's a defrost button. And the weight of this is 2 pounds. It's not giving me a meat versus fish or anything options, so I guess there's just a general setting. We're going to hit start. Looks like that's going to take 15 minutes, which is perfect because that allows us to get going on this rice. You may see me step in and out of frame a little bit today. Mostly because the sink is on the other side of the room. Just a different setup from the Texas apartment, and having this wired mic is a whole other situation. I almost just pulled my laptop off the counter with the audio interface. So there we go. If you want to know how much confidence they have in my cooking skills, they're talking about ordering Taco Bell right now. Yep. They are ordering Taco Bell right now while I'm cooking over here on this side of the room. Have they not been watching my show? I know what I'm doing, sort of. So for those of you who don't know, a brand new song dropped literally just a few days ago. I think 5 days ago on Friday. It was on Good Friday. You Were Always Good. Pushing that on Spotify right now, and it's going to radio this week. So we're excited about that. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. You Were Always Good by Samuel Day. I've been doing what every musical artist does and posting reels about it all week long. So hopefully if you follow me on Instagram, you're not annoyed by that. You understand that that's what we got to do. We got to let people know that the thing is out. So go check that out. I don't have any audio or video queued up. Again, I really just threw together. You want to see the rig that I'm streaming from tonight? Look at this. Like literally it's my laptop and a tiny interface and this wired microphone. Okay, it's time to make this rice. I'm going to have to bring you over here with me. So since I'm doubling this recipe, normally just for me, I would do 1 cup of rice. We're going to do 2 cups of rice, but we have a giant bag, a very giant bag of basmati. I'm going to start off by rinsing this stuff, make sure it doesn't stick together. And I do have a strainer here. So that should be pretty easy. Drop that down in the sink. The other hard thing about using my phone as the camera is I can't quite see what coverage I'm getting, and I have to sort of glance back at my laptop. So if it takes me a while to respond to comments tonight, that's why too, because I'm sort of all over the place. So, 2 cups of rice. I think I'm going to have to untether this microphone. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's so much better. See, normally I have a wireless mic just clipped on, but I came here with not even a carry-on. I just had a backpack, a personal item to save money on the airplane. Basically have my laptop, my mixing headphones, a couple hard drives, a few little personal items, but just a tiny backpack that I could put underneath the seat in front of me to get here. So all of my lapel mics and stuff like that, they are in Texas. It was sort of funny the other night. I was in a Discord call with our mutual friend Jacob, and he was cooking. He was on video cooking. He was kind of doing his own little let him cook. It wasn't broadcast to the world. It wasn't broadcast to the world. It was just broadcast to our friend group. But you know, he was really good at it. Like, yeah, he was okay. Now the microwave is telling me I need to turn the chicken over. I wasn't prepared for this. Okay, hang on. Do I just open it, or do I have to hit the stop button? Pause. Oh, there's a pause button. Beautiful. Okay. It's working. Curry and cheesy gordita crunch is always a good combo, Abby says. Brimstone asks, are you a good chef? Well, go back and watch my other episodes. I've made some pretty good food, but am I the greatest chef? No, I'm actually a musician and a singer. I just cook once a week, so I figured I may as well live stream it anyway. So you be the judge, or my family will be the judge when I finish this. But I'm going slow tonight, so I don't mess it up. Noodleman is in... He says, sorry, I was invested in a video about the Artemis 2. I think a lot of people are. Abby is one of our resident astronomers. I know she's super excited. I totally missed the Netflix live stream yesterday where they were on the dark side of the moon, but I've seen some pictures. It's been cool, though. You know, I know that the captain he had some really encouraging, faith-filled words to say on Easter, which was cool to see. Yeah, I'm not nearly as much of a space fanatic as some other people are, but it definitely is cool. And Noodle Man, I won't use your real name here unless you want me to. Again, we're live streaming, but I know you have a trip to Japan coming up. So as you messaged me, you DM'd me earlier today, it's very appropriate that I'm making Japanese curry before you set off to go to the land of the rising sun. So that'll be exciting, and I'm expecting a vlog and lots of pictures. And if you find me stowing away in your luggage, just zip it back up and don't say a word. Can you show me where those directions are that you had for the rice? No. Oh, that's not. I moved the scale. I got it. Okay, so we gotta make this rice. Nathan Abney Music says I didn't see what account I was on. Noodleman says I genuinely love the crew that we sent. They seem so wholesome. They seem like they're having a grand time up there. Based on everything I've seen, I would tend to agree with you, my friend. I did see the video of the Nutella like bopping around the fuselage. I guess it's not a fuselage because it's a rocket. It's not an airplane, but flying around. I thought that was fun. I'm a Nutella fan, so I thought that was funny. Nathan says, I've been buying some very bare bones equipment to vlog, so I plan on it. Trying to decide if I want a super log vlog or small episodes. I'm leaning into one supercut. Here's the thing. I'm a fan of the long supercut. I love those. What I'm learning on social media right now, though, is there's very much an appetite for short form content. I have tons of travel vlogs from years and years. I think they're wonderful. They're very entertaining. Now, some of the older ones, they don't have very good audio because I was filming with my iPhone in like an old life-proof case that really messed with the audio. But they get better and better over time. They're better and better edited. And I love those. They're like 7 to 12-minute videos each, and some of them are like my series from London is a multi-part series. I'm working on my series from Ireland right now. But I'm finding a lot of people really like just the 60-second vertical mini vlogs. So I would say film your trip as if you're going to make long-form content, and then edit to whatever seems appropriate when you're back. Abby says they bought Nutella and let it roam the place freely, and that told me everything I needed to know about them. Yeah, I think next we need to personify the Nutella, give it a name. Put some googly eyes on it. It'll be great. I need to make this rice or I'm just going to get distracted by talking to you guys all night long. Okay. Let me grab my handy dandy rice pot thing. It's glass. We can see through it. So I need to put 3 cups of cold water in here. I'm doing it. You just got to believe me. Okay, 3 cups of cold water required. And then we have our 2 cups of rice. So I'm just going to dump that into the cold water, turn the stove top on, and we need to bring that up to a boil. Just kind of put that on high until it starts to boil. And then once that boils, we're going to reduce the heat, cover it, and let that simmer for 12 minutes. My chicken is yelling at me again to turn it over once more. Okay, there we go. I'm going to try and get a little bit further away from this microphone. I'm just going to turn up the gain and be a little bit further away. So let me know if you can or cannot hear me if you're having a problem. But I don't want to be tied down to the mic all night long.
He's testing the perimeter of his ankle line, really. Damn, told Simon move too. He wanted to know exactly how far he could go. I said not to go on.
This microwave is determined to make me touch the raw chicken as many times as humanly possible. You already know what it is. I don't know why, but I keep choosing recipes that require me to chop onions. So while we're waiting on all of these things to happen, let's start prepping some vegetables. Since we are doubling this recipe, we're going to need 26 ounces of onions. So let me grab this food scale. We don't have to be perfect. I just want to get close. I think what it's really going to come down to is basically 2 onions, 2 potatoes, and some carrots to throw in there. But I'll try to get close. Okay. Move that to the side. I'm waiting to see astronaut approved Nutella at Walmart. I was joking with Abby when they were live streaming the takeoff. Did you notice that the one guy had a Coca-Cola on his desk and the other one had a Mountain Dew? It felt like product placement. Okay, yeah, so one of these yellow onions is 13 ounces, so yeah, we just got to use both of these onions. Perfect. We may as well get this out of the way. You know how I deal with onions. Move that to the side. Let's weigh out these potatoes, but I really think it's just going to be both. Well, 5 ounces of potatoes is the original recipe. Maybe we only need one of these russets because they're pretty big. That is it. That is a 10-ounce potato. We just used that potato. Cool. And then how much on the carrots? 3.5 ounces. I'm not even going to measure that. I'm just going to eyeball that. We'll chop up some carrots here in a moment. Let's just get the onions out of the way, dude. What's up, Chloe? Okay, tell me how you feel about this. So, my cousin Chloe just joined on Instagram. I'm sitting here cooking, right? A double recipe. They just left to go get Taco Bell. How am I supposed to feel about that?
We don't know how long it's going to take you to cook.
What's up, Callista? Sorry you can't watch the whole thing, but thanks for dropping by and saying hello. Alright, first we gotta kind of dress these onions. I want the biggest knife I can find, dude. That's pretty good. They got knives double stacked in this rack over here. That was not my fault. This is my mom. I think she's in the shot. Yeah, I think the shot goes over to the sink. So I'm gonna hold this knife very far away from you and say hi. Can you guys actually hear them back there? Like, am I safe to back up off of this microphone? I genuinely don't know. I jerry-rigged this whole setup tonight. Okay, I'm cutting the ends off of these onions so that I can peel the outside easier. I don't have my trusty goggles with me this evening. So we're just going to have to get through it like a champ. Abby says hi. She says she loves you too. All right, the chicken is defrosted. The rice is boiling, so we need to drop that heat down really low. What would you say, Mom? Like a 2? On the rice is boiling, so I'm dropping the heat down to 2. A 2. Okay. I'm gonna put that on a 2. Put the lid on it. My phone is preoccupied being a camera, so I'm just gonna have to remember that at 8:48 p.m. Eastern time, I gotta take the rice off. 12 minutes. That is correct.
Let me ask you a question.
This knife actually might be too big.
I've got one set on my phone.
Thank you.
So how's Simon controlling the drone without Wi-Fi?
Yes, you can hear me. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
You could have just watched the video live from the sales center.
All right, that's one onion
The company that makes the drone
kind of set up.
access to the cloud server. So, like, look, this is from the cloud.
So how's everybody doing this week? How was your resurrection weekend, your Easter weekend? I know that among the folks that I know, we prefer to refer to it as resurrection weekend, but I'm going to be honest with you. I say Easter all the time because I don't want to confuse people so that they don't know what I'm talking about. So like when my new song came out on Friday, I was like, it's coming out for Easter weekend, because I wasn't about to try to get everybody to code switch to my lingo if it was people I don't even know. But how was your resurrection weekend, your Easter weekend? Was it chill? Was it way too busy? Did you spend time with your family? Did you hide indoors from everyone? Did you hunt for eggs? Did you refuse to hunt for eggs because you believe that that is wrong to do? Put it in the comments. Don't argue about it, but put it in the comments. Maybe argue a little. Okay. All right. Next, I'm gonna wash this potato really quick. I'm not gonna drag this camera over. Just give me a second. I gotta scrub off this potato. Green one? That's what I thought. Yes.
Reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's better than wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan, save customers.
Oh, that is boiling out. I have to drop that heat even more. Yep, I'm dropping it down to a 1.2. Some people like to peel their potatoes. I don't really care about that. If it's cooked, it's cooked. The outside skin does not bother me. This knife genuinely might be too big for what I'm trying to do. It almost feels awkward. But I've committed now, so just really watch our technique. Should be fine. So I'm going to dice these potatoes. It's really sticking to it.
But that never happened. Thanks to the guy co-op, help arrived in under an hour.
Abby says, I didn't get an Easter basket, so my dad bought me a steak. Well, you know, that's it's a pretty fair trade, I think. Doesn't have the same longevity as an Easter basket, right? Steak is kind of a one-time thing. The Easter basket, depending on your critical mass of candy consumption, could last you up to a week, maybe more. But it's the thought that counts, right? We love dads that love their kids here. Again, it looks like Instagram might be struggling. Could somebody jump over to Instagram for me just really quick and tell me if that stream is frozen? It looks like it's frozen on my laptop, and if it's happening from here in Ohio too, that tells me that that's a problem with Instagram and Restream, and it's not a problem with my internet connection. So if nothing else, we've done some science here and we've learned something today. This potato, oh my gosh, excuse me. You didn't hear that. That didn't happen. This potato keeps wanting to stick to this knife, dude. I gotta speed up. I'm taking way too long. I'm talking too much. I blame every single one of you. Individually, by name. So, deep thought of the day. I didn't think I had one for today's stream, but it's actually very appropriate. And I've sort of talked about this before. I think it's basically what I touched on last week. But I'm going to talk about it again because my new song, You Were Always Good, just came out. And look, I'm I hesitate to say this publicly because I don't want anybody to think that I am roasting anybody. But let's be honest, like stylistically, that song is very much for a particular sector of the Christian music audience. It's, you know, it just has a very traditional CCM radio sound. It's kind of for the soccer moms. That doesn't mean I don't love it. I do. But I know what it is. But what the song is about is more important to me than you might think. Like on the surface, it does seem like a very simple song of just like, oh, we're saying God is good. Great. Woo, put it on the radio. But really it's about holding on to that truth and that belief, even through times when that seemed contrary to it. And I was having a conversation with someone literally yesterday where I was just reminding them, look, I'm not trying to get in a theological fight with other Christians. So if other Christians disagree with me on this, we're not going to have a knockdown, drag-out fight about it. It's okay. The world will not end. But I very strongly believe that, like, God does not send calamity. God does not send sickness, disease, bad things, mental illness on us to teach us a lesson. And I know people are going to be like, well, what about the Old Testament? Keith Moore has a really great breakdown on that. I'm not going to go into that right now. But there's God passing judgment that allows the enemy to do things versus God doing it himself. And there's really great hermeneutics about that. That's not the point. The point is once you know that Jesus said in John 10:10, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I've come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. When you know it says in Acts 10:38, Jesus went around doing good and healing those who were oppressed of the devil. It doesn't say they were oppressed of God. It says they were oppressed of the devil, and Jesus went around dismantling that. So once you know that is part of God's character, then you have to reconcile, okay, well, what about when I've gone through just like soul-crushing stuff? How do I handle that? How do I deal with that? Well, it actually gives you something to push back with. It gives you something to push back and say, no, this was never for me. Do I believe that God sends us into difficult situations in order to be the answer for them? Yes. Do I believe that God has called people to go into situations where they would be persecuted and even martyred? Yes. So setting those things aside, like having said that, and yes, I do believe that, but setting those things aside, there are so many other things we're not supposed to accept. So when we know that God's character is good, then we can bear down on that and say, this is not the way it's supposed to be. So I'm not going to let my view of your character be sabotaged by the things going on around me right now that are basically just happening because of people's free will around me, maybe my own mistakes, and an enemy that just hates me and is out to get me. So that song, while it sounds very, just kind of very chipper, comes from a deeper place than you might think of saying, you know what, I'm not going to let anybody steal this from me, despite the things I've been through and the things I'm going to have to clamp down on. So don't just listen to the song. I would encourage you to read it and read it intentionally. And while it's not the wordiest song I've ever written, there's not a ton of lyrics. I think what is there will do something for you if you get it in your head. And that's what I intentionally try to do with at least a lot of the music that I write. Abby says, Instagram's not stuck on my phone. Thank you for checking that for me. I very much appreciate that. Okay, we got our potatoes. This is going to be, we're supposed to stir fry the meat and vegetables in oil in a large skillet on medium heat for about 5 minutes. I'm not going to do it in a skillet. I'm just going to do it in the pot because it's all going to end up in the pot anyway. So as I get done with these vegetables, I'm just going to dump them into the pot. I gotta turn up the volume or the speed here. So we're going to dump these. We're going to prep these onions, carrots. I got to chop up the chicken, and then we can really get to going.
Would you mind if I came in and took a look?
Chloe, I don't know if you're still on Instagram at the moment or not. I saw you popped in. I don't know if you're still there, but if you are, how was your drive back yesterday? I'm not trying to air your business out to the whole internet, but I know you had a long drive back from some tests, some stuff you were doing for school. So just checking in on you. Little cousin, you know. Oh, I feel a little tickle. No, I will not be defeated by a vegetable.
fast.
Chloe says, "Hey, I'm on YouTube. My Instagram wasn't loading, but it was just a very long drive. Miss y'all. What is it? It's like 2 hours, right? I think that's what your dad was saying. He had like a 2 hour haul back. How did the do you know what like your did things go okay on your tests? You don't I don't you don't need to tell the internet your grades. I'm not going to tell the internet your grades, but
So you think this friend of yours is in some kind of trouble?
Could be. Hey, you don't happen to see a dark pickup truck last night? Parked a couple houses down?
yeah, your dad was here, but he just left. I think he's putting gas in the car. And like I was saying before, they're getting Taco Bell. Like now I know what suburban moms feel like, you know? Like I cooked all this. I'm cooking all this. And you're getting Taco Bell right now? Somebody buy me a minivan, please. I'm going to start a GoFundMe for a minivan. And if anybody would like to forge documents for me so that I can get into the PTA meeting, I would appreciate that too.
Thinking the owner of the truck kidnapped a woman and Simon saw it.
Kidding?
Chloe says, my father, Taco Bell, this is new to me. I don't know, dude. He just came back in the door. So
Roasting us over there. What?
I'm roasting. He literally just walked in.
Who is it?
Chloe's in the chat on YouTube. I was lightly roasting you for getting Taco Bell while I'm cooking.
Well, you know. Chloe, I'll bring you some home.
Did you hear that?
Your timer just went off for your rice.
Abby, I see your comment, and for the sake of legal deniability, I won't read it out loud. Thank you. I heard that. Timer just went off. I think I can touch these flaps.
Just take it off the heat.
Yep, got it. This is a lot of onion. I'm pretty happy that I'm not melting down standing over this onion right now. Maybe it's the red ones that are a little bit tougher for me when I chop them. I am feeling it though. I am. I wish this wasn't a let him cook tradition. Like, deep thought of the day is a let him cook tradition. Sam weeping over your onions was never meant to be one. Ah! Okay, maybe if I don't keep my face right over top of it, you know? Gosh. Chloe says, no, bring me BB Bop and Donato's home, please.
You guys got Donatos now, I hear.
Yeah, that's what we heard. We heard that in Oklahoma, and I'm not going to tell people where you live, because again, we're live, but in the state of Oklahoma, I heard you guys now do have some BB Bop happening. So good for you. Or not BB Bop, Donato's Pizza. Ugh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Eyeball break. Goodness. Okay, two more. Push. Callista says hi to Sam's mom. Ugh.
Hello. Saying hello to everybody. Love you.
Okay, that was the blanket one. Y'all got that right? Ugh. Okay, hang on. I really do have to stop for a second.
Need to buy you some swim goggles so that
I'm not even joking. I've used them before. I have actually had to put swimming goggles on while I was chopping onions, and I looked ridiculous. But man, it was so much easier. Oh. Ugh. Man up and do these onions. Ugh. Okay.
What about the girl? She's eight. Thank God, 'cause she's psycho. He means a snake. You can't see that.
Oh, it's an hour and 45 minutes away from you? Okay. I didn't know that. I just knew there was one physically in your state lines now.
You find anything?
Yeah, I got it.
We keep them going.
How's our favorite chocolate lab doing?
Missing Grandpa.
I swear, man, this was all
Something else.
ideas.
See you later, Callista. Thanks for coming.
This your place?
I was sitting there in a plans, feeding the gecko, that kind of thing. Anyways, I didn't realize it was going to be a woman. Stone stashed me on the floor. I was all jumped with this kid.
This is so many onions, guys. I'm concerned. Mostly, I'm just concerned that, I mean, the pot is deep enough, but it's not very wide.
He's here at home. Mama has to get her nose into things.
Okay, almost there. I'm being a little bit more cavalier about how I'm chopping this last one. I'm just trying to move a little faster. Okay, this ought to do. This is so, gosh, this is, the whole cutting board is just full of onion. Ah! My eyes! He's doing amazing, of course. He just got a walk, but yes, he does miss his grandpa. Okay, so they must really be able to hear you from back there. I kind of love that. I really wasn't sure.
Alright, let me get this straight. Simon, break items up in my area this morning. We're going to the center house. That's what we do. We can put it in.
Man.
Okay. This random dude, Simon, I don't know that. He just goes like,
Okay.
he's my friend. That's what he is.
You didn't see him coming around the house.
No, that's the drone spot. It's up there.
So our rice is pretty much done at this point. I probably need to take the lid off and fluff it around a little bit.
Alright, I got something else on the phone.
And then,
Take it off the heat.
it's, no, it's been off the heat. I did that already when the timer went off. You know what? I can take it. I can take it. Content is content, right?
Looks like I went to a burner phone. Text message came with a video. You have 24 hours to pay. And she's dead.
Look at the response.
Go ahead and kill her.
Okay.
It's like you're trying to run out the clock.
Can you get a location on the phone?
No. Burner went dead. That's what the message was saying.
Okay. Should I put? It's a little overcooked. It's definitely overcooked. So I should probably not put the lid back on.
Get an idea on that woman, the butter.
This is so much. Oh my goodness. I hope that Man, I hope I can make this work. I think what I might do is grab a pan and cook up the chicken a little bit just to be safe before I add it in here. So let's knock out these onions, or sorry, these carrots. Let's cut up this chicken and we'll do a little bit of side prep on it before we add it to the pot with everything else. 1 second, the carrots are behind you. We just have some baby carrots, but it'll be fine. And wash my hands again. Every time I come back home, we try to hit all my favorite restaurants in this area. Shout out to Saigon Noodle Bar. Shout out to Numprik Tai Lao. Pies and Pints. BB Bop. That's like the top 4. There's definitely others, but that's usually the top 4. I kind of knew this was going to happen, but the other night we went into the Thai place, and we try not to be those people that show up too close to when a place is closing. They were closing at 8:30. We were going to show up a little bit before 8. It was like 7:45 or something. And so we were like, we'll just get it to go. We don't want to hold you guys up. And I kind of saw this coming, but they were like, no, sit down. We miss you. And they really do, like, it's one of those places where they do remember you. They don't just say that, like, they know that I've been gone and out of town, in Texas for a while. So they remember people, they like remember people's orders. So they know that my grandpa will normally get masaman curry with fish. So we threw them off and we got it for him with chicken the other night. They were like, are you sure? I'm like, it's been a while since they've been in here. But we saw the craziest thing there one time. So a lot of Thai restaurants, a lot of Asian restaurants will have a heat scale. Indian places will do it too, where you can kind of choose the amount of chili oil that they're putting in, usually on a scale of 1 to 5. And at this restaurant, I've never had more than a 3. A 3 was enough. Often if I'm feeling like I just want to chill and enjoy my food, I'll get a 2. I like spicy food, but sometimes I'll just get a 2. But this place has this special thing where, like, you can order above a 5 on the menu if you're just feeling really froggy, right? It's a Thai restaurant. What I believe was like an Indian family came in one day, and homeboy ordered a level 20. 20. I watched this dark-skinned Indian dude sit down at the table with his big family, order a level 20. Again, I've never been able to handle more than a 3. And just casually ate it. I don't even remember him breaking out in a sweat, ordering an extra drink. It was just a regular Tuesday to this guy. I don't know where he is today, but I will never forget that. Okay, last thing we need to do is we need to cut up this chicken. We got 2 pounds of chicken, and I'm gonna side prep it a little bit, just for safety. Because, like I said, our pot here is pretty deep, but it's not that wide, and I want to make sure we get the correct heat coverage to cook the chicken properly. You've heard me say it before, I don't mess with raw chicken. And we have a lot of it. Running out of counter space here. Okay, I gotta wash my hands again because I just touched my nose. Trying to be sanitary because I'm cooking for other people, Okay. And I'm not going to be very precious about trying to dress up these chicken thighs or cut stuff off of them. Oh, I should have thought this through, dude. Do we know how long the Artemis folks are supposed to be in space? And, like, what is the purpose of the mission? I know that they are... Essentially, they've gone out around the moon, and then they're going to come back and do a couple of orbits before they touch down. That's my understanding of the flight plan. But, like, what's the goal? Is it just telemetry data? Like, what was so important that they get out there again to collect? Somebody fill me in. That'll work. And I mean, if you want to drop your conspiracy theories, you can do that too. I kind of did. I'm basically just going to cube this chicken-ish. Cut it into strips and then cut it into pieces that should cook through a little quicker. Don't have to be too precise. I think this knife needs to be sharpened a little bit, but I won't say that too loud.
Yeah, this is the place. Alright, I can bypass the system. Get the stuff USB from it.
I just finished up. Well, it's almost finished. I just got final mix approval from a client. I did some mix work, production and mix work for. So I'm selective about what projects I take. I don't just take anything. But if you are looking to get some mixing and mastering work done, some photography or some video work done, or some production work done in the mixing area, or in the music area, hit me up and let me know, because I'm grabbing more client work these days. If you want examples of my work, since we're talking about it, just go listen to like any of my music, because most of that is fully either fully self-produced or like co-produced with someone like Jacob, and then I've typically taken care of the mixing. Mastering, I often do send out, but I'm starting to do more and more of that on my own as well. So, let me know. Let your boy know. Okay, I don't know what kind of cooking oil we have here, so I may just put a little bit of butter in this skillet, just so the chicken doesn't stick too much. And I'm just kind of like, I want to get it lightly cooked. We'll cook it the rest of the way with the vegetables in the pot, but again, this is just for safety.
Order in the app today and get your favorite sub plus one. One to eat, one to share. Or not, they're your sub. Subway, eat fresh, real good.
Honestly, we should have boosted her. We got this stuff.
Honestly, we've been together for a while, so
I didn't test it really impressed on mine.
I know we should get tested for HIV.
Yeah, dude, I know. That's what I'm saying about the knife. Like,
Honestly, I should.
there's at least 2 guys in the room who would so swiftly try to do something about it.
Honestly, no one.
And I just don't, I don't got time for that right now.
But there are things that everyone can do to help protect their sexual health.
It starts with condoms and getting regularly tested for HIV and other STIs. So you know your status.
So talk honestly with a healthcare provider
Grab some butter
and all your plans.
and a butter knife. We'll just put a little bit of that in that skillet. Melt it down when we're ready to hit all this chicken.
To help reduce your chances of getting it. And it can be 99% effective when taken as prescribed. I'm gonna get tested and find out about all my prevention options. Because honestly,
Honestly,
'Cause I don't think there's any avocado oil here. So I'm just gonna lightly, really lightly melt that down. Start putting the chicken in here as I get it diced.
why would they kill him? Simon didn't do that. He wouldn't do that. They're friends.
This should not actually be hot enough to cook the chicken. It was just warm enough to melt that butter. Man, I feel like I gotta wash my hands every 5 seconds because I keep having to touch the raw chicken. Which wouldn't be a problem, except that then I have to touch something else, Okay, Abby's giving us the down low on Artemis. They get back on Friday, and it's basically just collecting data and testing out the life support functions so they can send people there in 2028. Okay. So it's like important recon. All right, I got you. I figured you would be the one to give us the details.
Okay. Look, I'm a hacker. Okay, I can get you whatever you want. Just let me go. Looks like they're a couple miles ahead of us.
Yeah, I got a whetstone and like a finishing ceramic block thing at my apartment that I dressed up most of my knives with. I guess it's been like 6 months ago now, so probably need to do it again sometime soon. But
Set it for her husband. Nuclear ransom. He wants it dead. Alright, here we go.
it's like I don't really want to sharpen things by just taking material off of them. I want to like finish them down so that they're not too brittle at the microscopic level, you know.
He hires himself to find people that get mad or lost in the woods or
Hi, honey. Sweetheart. Where have you been?
So yeah, I thought that it was funny. I think so. I was making content in the woods with Jacob the other day, and I really mean making content as 2026 as that sounds. Like we weren't shooting a proper music video or anything. We were just shooting reels for the release of the song, and I think I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today, and I think they genuinely thought that that was like the legit music video for the song, and I'm like, no, that's not. That was just for reels. Music videos are typically a bigger undertaking than a single camera in the woods, you know. Not that they look bad, because they look good. I'll give you one of my filmmaking cheat codes is to just shoot at golden hour. You get a lot more light diffusion because the sun is at an angle. You don't get as many hot spots. And the colors tend to be more complementary. You get more blues and oranges, opposite sides of the color spectrum, instead of things just being washed out in white. And that's just color theory working in your favor. So that's why, like at the end of the music video for Through the Night, we have that sunrise scene where I'm at the top of the parking garage. Anytime you can shoot at golden hour, you're making your footage look good more and more into easy mode. You still got to know your cinematography stuff. You still got to know how to keep a shallow focus and know about composition and visual hierarchy and rules of thirds and all that stuff. But as far as lighting is concerned, golden hour will do you a lot of favors. The trouble is that it doesn't last very long. Like when you get to the place where, you know, the sun looks like it's 6 inches above the horizon, you think in your brain, you think, man, we probably got like an hour. Now, you probably have 15 minutes. Maybe you have 15 minutes. It moves so fast toward the horizon when it's that low that you can just, like, you can see it moving. So when we were shooting the Through the Night video on that parking garage, we knew we had maybe 2 takes to get that right.
You showed up with the cuts. How about?
Okay, that's the rest of our chicken. Now I can bump up this heat and just kind of lightly get it cooking so that it'll play well with our vegetables when we start stir frying them all together.
Can't thank you enough. Just stick it in.
Some kind of way. We're good. We're good. All right. We're good.
Which the color theory of that is something that if like that's a geeky side tangent for me. talk about that in a moment. I need to make sure I'm doing this correctly. I need a tablespoon of cooking. I need 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, and 4.5 cups of water in that pot. So let's go ahead and get those things added too, so that I don't get behind when it's time to change over. It's like the only cooking oil I have. We've got canola oil and we've got olive oil. Olive oil has a pretty low smoke point. I don't know about canola oil.
Or I got coconut oil on the side there.
You got coconut oil? That could work.
Yeah, go on over.
Okay.
I'm going on over.
I've been using it for something else, but that's no problem. Okay, keep going. There's a bottle of coconut.
I got it. Cool. Thank you. So we need 2 tablespoons of that in our pot over there. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get that going.
People are ready to say something here?
Not really. Just you said you were working a lot of hours. Said took up boxing.
Okay, first of all, boxing is an excellent cardio heavy activity.
Okay.
And then 4.5 cups of water,
That's what came here.
which, you know, we can make this easier on ourselves. I think she's got, yeah, bigger measuring cup. I'm gonna go ahead and start turning up the heat on this chicken
Go for a walk.
so I can actually get it cooking a bit.
Right now?
Let's go.
That's 2 cups.
Diner down the road. Look pretty nice.
You're lucky I kept it.
I'm buying it.
That's 4 cups. And that is 4.5 cups. Okay. And we can even just start slowly heating that up over there too in that pot. I don't really know the heat levels on this stove as well as I used to. So I'm being very cautious about how high or low I turn things. I'm really bringing it up slowly. Okay, and let's see if we can grab like a wooden spatula or something here to work with this chicken. Perfect. I kind of wish you could see more of what's happening here. Let me see if I can move this over and give you more of a view of the stove here.
Welcome to an entirely new next generation disc. That's why when we left earlier,
This is CBS on Paramount Plus.
be in there for 5 minutes, come out, turn it, go right back in.
Okay.
And then we'll be in there for 20 minutes.
So you can see our chicken is just starting to get a little bit of heat going in here. Technically, you're supposed to just saute it all together with these vegetables. I think you're supposed to do that before you add the water. Did I just mess that up? I can strain it out if I need to. Stir fry meat and vegetables with oil in a large skillet. Okay, I did mess that up. Okay. Hang on. I just got ahead of myself there. I can just strain that out. No big deal. I'm gonna pump the brakes on the chicken. Gonna just strain these vegetables out, and we'll do it with just the oil to begin with. There we go. No harm done. Not a big deal. Dump them back in there. We will have to put the oil back in there though, so let's measure that back out. Chicken is just starting to make a little bit of sound, so I'm gonna move it around a little bit. Again, just doing them you wouldn't normally have to do them separately. I'm doing them separately right now just for safety. And we can combine and everything will be good. Take the man out of the city, out the city, out the man.
What are you doing here? Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Are you trying to play with Mickey?
I'm gonna go knock out some homework, miss you guys. Give the fam love for me. All right, see you later, Chloe. Thanks for jumping in. I'll talk to you later. Knock out that homework. Be a good student. I know about that life. I did it for many years. When I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Another version of me. I was in it. Say goodbye to the end, the beginning. Check that out, son. Okay, so we'll do this for about 5 minutes. We're going to bring up the heat on both of these things. Really start getting them moving, start getting them stir-fried properly. I know some of you are thinking, didn't you just cross-contaminate? No, I didn't, because usually, again, you would have just done the chicken with the vegetables anyway. In most cases, it's all going to cook out. It's going to be fine. I think I need to turn up the power on the chicken, though. Okay, starting to hear some cooking sounds. That's encouraging. I'm almost tempted to put a little bit of butter in the vegetables too. It smells good in the chicken. It's not needed, but it smells kind of nice. Trying to keep that chicken evenly spread out so it's all getting heated. It's about surface area over here. Ah, that's what I'm smelling. Smelled something burning. There's a little bit of... It's a glass top stove, so I can just scrape that off of there. I know I talked to some people recently and they weren't a fan of glass top stoves. But dude, the number of times I've had to take the burners off the stove in my apartment and like clean them meticulously because stuff gets down there in between them. I don't know. So far it's nice that I can clean this a lot easier. The way the camera keeps focusing is very cinematic. Well, I'm glad. That's a good thing. What does this look like over here? Yeah, dude. Yeah, now it actually looks like I have a cooking show, and go figure, it's when I'm using my iPhone and not my DSLR that I normally use. And when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. So, Nathan, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but if you are, I know last time we talked, you hadn't totally figured out your whole Japan agenda yet. Now, I'm not asking you to tell the entire world where you're going to be and when, but have you at least worked out more of your details? Is your trip a little bit more structured at this, like, because you don't have long before you leave, from what I remember. Your iPhone needs to cool down. Oh, that's unfortunate. Thanks for letting me know. Sheesh, dude. Point a fan at it or something. No, I know. I see the notification. Can we go wide? That's not as cool. It's probably because it's plugged in. It's not actually that hot over here. Well, we're just gonna ride it out. We're gonna ride it out as long as we can. Give a couple more minutes on these. I'll cut open one of these pieces of chicken, make sure it's cooked all the way through. I'm pretty confident that they are at this point. Then we'll combine, we'll get the water in there, and we will turn it into Japanese curry. Almost at the finish line. Okay. You know that the onions are basically ready when they start to get a little bit more translucent. We're getting closer. We're pretty close on those onions. They've reduced down a bit too. They're not as tall in the pot. Let me check this chicken. I like to try to cut open a piece that's a little bit thicker. Make sure it's cooked all the way through. Do that a couple of places. That basically looks okay. I'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll combine and get it finished. Things are starting to stick to the bottom of the pan a little bit, so I'm dropping the heat on both of these guys. Okay, I think we're basically good here. So let's combine these very carefully. Just starting to stick a little bit. Cool, cool. There we go. Turn off that heat. Try to move this to the side, but I'm running out of real estate here. I'm just gonna have to leave it. Mix these together. Now we gotta add the water. We'll drop that heat down to 5. Kind of get that chicken mixed up with the onions and the potatoes and vegetables. And now we gotta add our water for real this time. Said 4.5 cups. I'm going to move this off of the heat as much as I can. And still need a 1/2 cup of water. Okay. There we go. All right, let's read the end of the recipe here. Add water and bring to a boil. So we're going to have to bring that heat back up. After it hits a boil, then we need to reduce the heat again, cover, and simmer until the ingredients are tender for about 15 minutes. My goodness. Well, that'll give us some time to do some dishes over here to the side, so we'll post up and do that. And then the last thing that we'll do is we'll add these curry cubes once everything has had a chance to become one thing. Okay, we're going to kick this camera out to wide angle, bring you over here to the sink, and I'm going to do my best to wash some dishes while we wait for that to get up to a boil. Or at least get them prepped. Put some things away. Okay. Some of this can go in the dishwasher. I'm going to have to take some of this pretty slowly. Let's get a clip on the carrots. Hi, Charlie. You want to be on the internet? Come here, buddy. No, we're going to walk away. Oh, right there. There goes Charlie. Just so that you know. We have one last chicken thigh here. I probably need to put it in a freezer bag and refreeze this guy so it can be used for something else later on. So let's do that.
No, that's no good. One thing this guy hates is I'm not in a uniform. You won't even know I'm a cop. Tell that's your haircut. You gotta trust me. I can get him to sit down with us and tell us what he knows, but I gotta come with you.
I know I've said it before, but if you have any recipes you want me to try on the live stream, send them my way. I have one in my pocket right now. Abby sent me a recipe for tomato soup, so we've got that on the docket for when I get back to Texas at some time. But if you have any others, put them in my DMs.
You Elroy Edwards kid? You know my dad? I know of him. My friend Bill was a rancher. He and Elroy were types. West Fox.
I don't recognize you. You're Mickey's dad, right?
be really careful. 'Cause I've got this camera, and a tripod, and a cable running across the room, so moving slow. A few of these things can just go in the dishwasher. Some of them need to be hand washed. A question, why is there water on the other side of the sink? Can I let that out?
Yeah, I'll let it out. That was just to thaw your chicken.
Okay, thank you.
We urge all Edgewater residents to report anything unusual, please call.
All right. Our water's almost boiling over here. About another minute, we should be okay to drop it and let it simmer. Be really careful with these knives.
Just stick some of that stuff
I will. And there goes Charlie. You can't see him, but he's sniffing around. What's up, buddy?
Hello, this is Sheriff.
I know, this is weird. This is very weird. I get it.
You can call me Donald, like the duck.
Because I'm Mickey, like the mouse.
Hi, Donald. Before we take any further, I'm gonna need to know the kids are safe.
They're alive. If you want them to stay that way, you'll pay us $2.6 million.
Okay. Our combined ingredients have come to a boil over here.
Edgewater's not a wealthy.
So I know you can't see it. I'm gonna put a cover on them. Give it 15 minutes. We're gonna drop that heat down just to a simmer.
I don't think you understand.
I do understand. I won't blow these kids into a million pieces. Do you hear me, Sheriff?
There we go. All right. So we reduce that to a simmer, and we're just gonna keep working on these dishes in the meantime. That's gonna need 15 minutes. So at 9:50 Eastern time, because I'm in Eastern time right now. I know a lot of you guys are in Central. I lost an hour coming here, but I'm gonna get it back.
Put it on the big screen.
Okay, I need dish soap. Well,
Sure. Check the timestamp.
I need dish soap and a sponge. We still do that here?
What's that?
Sponge.
No. I got rid of it.
Okay. What would you like for me to use to hand wash the dishes that need to be hand washed?
Fast and lasting relief of joint pain and stiffness.
Put some soap on it.
Where would that? This guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Alright, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
Lowered ability to fight them, liver problems, and inflammatory bowel disease have occurred. Tell your doctor if these happen or worsen, or fevers, chills, muscle aches, or cough occur, or you find vaccine or plant before starting to check for infections, tuberculosis, and liver problems.
I haven't tuned out on you guys. I am keeping an eye on the chat as I can. It's just behind me. My laptop's over there, Cinco's over here, so say anything, I will catch it. It just might take me a moment.
Committed to giving back. You've been there, done that, and you're still here for more. So now that you're 50 or older and at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia and IPD, these health experts will have access. A vaccine specifically designed for adults to help protect against
Welcome back to Man Washes Dishes.
certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive is the only vaccine that helps protect against the strains that cause 82% of IPD in adults 50 or older.
So I was talking to Jacob. You know, we've talked about, because he's still got some Axis deer meat from when he went hunting last year. So we've talked about doing a beef steak together at his place, and I also talked to David about doing potentially some carne asada with him. So this would be probably the first time, but definitely not the last time that this whole operation goes on the road. It is a little weird for me, because nothing about my online identity has anything to do with cooking. It's all music or filmmaking or, you know, whatever else, but not cooking. But if it's working, if we're all having a good time, you guys keep showing up, hanging out, giving me crazy recipes, talking about the moon landing, and we'll keep doing it. Because I gotta cook once a week anyway.
The board of supervisors is convening now. The other answer was not my first choice, but we should get the money back just in case. Idiot is reaching.
I've learned
Comment? No.
through being at different people's houses that everybody does dishes a little bit differently. Like when you're a child, you think it's a universal procedure, right? But I was at somebody's house recently and I was like, where do I put the wet dishes? There was no drying mat. There was no drying. They didn't have a split sink. And they had they had a drying mat, but it was under the sink. They had to break it out and actually lay it out, whereas like my rack is just there all the time. Some people use a sponge. When I was at this other person's house recently, they had a scrub brush, and that was the main thing that they used. Is there a problem with any of that? No. But I had this solid 5 minutes of awkwardness where I was trying to be helpful. I was cleaning up after a party, and I just hung around to be helpful. But I'm like, look, I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to be helpful, but I don't know where any of your stuff is at, and I don't know what your rules are. Have you ever experienced that? Like you go to somebody else's house and you're trying to be helpful, but like they have some way of taking out the trash or storing their pots and pans or doing the dishes that's completely foreign to you. And you start questioning everything you think you know as a legal adult. Cutting board, we gotta be really serious about this one just because there was so much raw chicken involved with it, so I gotta really dig in there. There's no me, I don't. Say it with me, we don't mess around with raw chicken. This is a vegetable brush, so I'm gonna have to clean that off afterward too because that should not have been in the sink while I was doing that. I think this is a bottle brush, so I definitely shouldn't use that. I'm just going to clean both of these when we're finished. But I need something semi-abrasive. Well, do what? Well, I need to clean this cutting board because I cut a bunch of the raw chicken on it, and some of it was kind of stuck on there, so I figured I should use something more than just this, something a little
Well,
bit.
you use the brush
scrubby.
and get that.
Oh, this brush.
Yeah,
Okay.
you open this bottle.
Mhm.
There's a spray in here on the side, or should be.
There are many sprays on this side.
Well, let me see. The one up front
I
there.
think.
Right there. This one with the squeeze bottle. That.
Okay,
Use that. That kills the.
gotcha. Abby says, we caught Jess taking out our trash a few months ago. Well, that's nice. She's just being helpful, right? But again, like, is that awkward? Like, because how do you know, like if you're at a friend's house, how do you know that their trash day is the same as your trash day? Do they separate their recycling? Do they not? Is there an HOA that's going to send them a sternly worded letter if you put the trash on the curb on the wrong day? There's, you know. Like that's all I'm saying is you can be. I feel like this is a life concept though. You can be making the effort to not do something malicious, but to do something good and still mess it up. I have something written down that led me to like deep thought number 2 of the day. We always get there, right? I have something written down on a bulletin board where I have some ideas. I've got a really big bulletin board actually here in Ohio, not in Texas, where I'm mapping out a bunch of creative ideas for a project, and I can't say much more about it than that. But one of the so I have a bunch of note cards on there with some different just different ideas that all relate to the project. And one of the things I have written down on there is that most betrayal doesn't come from hate, it comes from selfishness. So the idea being that, like, often, at least in my experience and from what I've observed, like, a lot of betrayal doesn't come from people being like, I hate you, so I'm going to do something to hurt you. That does happen. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. That does happen. But I think a lot of the times, at least the things that look or feel like betrayal, come from somebody just trying to look out for number one only.
Just being there will mean a lot.
And then, like, as an extension of that, you know, it's one thing when somebody does something to us because they're trying to be malicious, they're trying to be hurtful. It's another thing when they're genuinely trying to do the right thing, and like somebody still gets hurt. That's a whole other thing to unpack. We got there from taking out the trash, but that was good.
Share just yet, but know that the case is moving forward, and I will ask you to stay very soon.
I'm sick of this.
Okay, we got about another 5 minutes on our curry over there. Actually, it's just boiling chicken and vegetables right now. Simmering chicken and vegetables. And then we'll be good to turn it into curry. We'll break up those cubes in there. I'll lightly wash these brushes with some dish soap here. I think the reason I thought about that too is because it's like, it's a lot easier. I mean, it might be more vicious, but it's at least easier to process when something hurtful happens, when that was what was intended. Because then it's like cut and dry. It's black and white, right? Like, this person was just acting evil. Okay. I may not like it, but I can at least understand that. It's different when it's like, dude, this person was actually trying to do the right thing, or trying to at least do the right thing for them, and I still ended up on the short end of it. That's like a different flavor of forgiveness, I feel like. And sometimes you have to allow yourself to, like, come to that conclusion, because they're not necessarily going to tell you. Because oftentimes they didn't even know they did it. Like, why would they? They weren't trying to be malicious. They were just living life. That's where, like, I told somebody the other day, we were talking about them finding a church, you know, and people talk a lot about church hurt, right? Which is, I mean, is real, but at the same time, it's like, but you get hurt anywhere you deal with people. Like, people get hurt at the club, people get hurt at Thanksgiving dinner. We don't put that same label on those things, but it really is just the same thing. It's because you're bumping into other people who, whether they're trying to be malicious or they're just like, they're just at where they're at, even though they're trying to do the right thing. Sometimes that friction happens, you know? Like, and I mean, come on, like, let's be honest. How many times have you walked away from a social interaction, it was fun, you were having a good time, and then like an hour later you start replaying things you said in your head and the way you said them, and you're like, man, that could have been taken the wrong way. And like, we don't need to sit around and overthink, but it does put in perspective how easy it is for those things to happen, even when it's not intended. Let's go back over here to our recipe. Abby says Alex did it at their house, and she thought it was something we expected. She thought it was something we expected. LOL, we do not. Isaiah Johnson on Instagram says, definitely don't mess around with raw chicken. That's right. Says, good evening from Alabama. Thanks for joining from Alabama. I don't know if you're still in there in Instagram, but if you are, thanks for coming in. I think I need to get that Restream bot, like, dropping links to the music in the chat regularly again. It used to do that. If you're new here, if you haven't been, go check out the Instagram profile. Check out the link in my bio. Lots of new music has come out in just the last 3 months. Lots more on the way, and working on projects for other artists as well. So thanks for being here. Okay, we're so close. We're almost there. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to break up these curry cubes
I'm an adult. I get to decide who I want to have a relationship.
into this mix and simmer them until they're completely melted in. Let's go ahead and take that. Woo! That is, wow, that's moving more than I thought. I didn't think it was going to get that hot for level 4. Alright. Japanese curry is honestly one of my favorite flavors of curry. And, well, like, this took a lot of prep time because I was doubling the recipe and sort of fumbling through what was in this kitchen. It's actually really easy because it just comes in these bricks, you know? Callaway Photos says, hello from Japan. Oh my gosh, are you actually in Japan right now? It's funny if you are. I have a friend who at least was in the YouTube chat just a little bit ago who's going to be in Japan. I think within the next week or so. He's got a trip planned. So that's really exciting. Definitely on my list of places I want to go. Okay, drop like your top 5 places you want to travel in the chat. For me, Iceland. I was on my way to London for work, and we had a connection in Iceland. And just looking out the window from the plane and looking out the window from the Reykjavik airport was enough to let me know I have to go back to Iceland. So Iceland, Japan, somewhere in Eastern Europe, like I've been to Germany a couple times when I was a kid. So maybe like Austria or Greece or something. That's not Eastern Europe. But Italy or Greece would also be big up on the list for me. I'm not really much of a beach. I don't dislike beaches, but I'm not as interested in them as like interesting forests and mountains, unless you can see through the water. Like if you can see through the water, and I've seen some of those beaches on the coast of Greece where you got clear visibility like 20 feet down or something. Yeah, dude, sign me up. Abby says Italy, Norway, and Egypt. Ooh, Egypt. Yeah, Norway would be awesome though. There's a creator that I follow, and they are from, I think they're Norwegian. I think they're from Norway. They're called Nerdforge. And they build all kinds of cool like armor and crafts and books, like anything you can think of. They hand make in like very medieval fantasy sort of ways, and yeah, but I think they're based in Norway, if I remember correctly. Egypt is an interesting one because I feel like the Egyptology aspect of that would be really cool, like the history, the pyramids, and all that. But I sometimes question if anything outside of those destinations in Egypt would be that interesting. Like, is the country, and if you're from Egypt and you're in the chat, like, let me know. I'm not trying to insult your country, but I often wonder, what is the nation like outside of those landmarks that everyone knows about? Alright, Alright, so we're going to dump the rest of this in here, and then I'm going to use my wooden spatula to kind of break it up. It smells awesome. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Let's make sure you got at least a slightly, but you can't see that at all, dude. I'm sorry. Let's see if you can get a slightly better view of what's going on over here. Yes. All right. So we've got all of our curry bricks in here, basically. So I'm gonna break them down. Excuse me. I'm gonna break them down, stir them in, and then this will be it'll be in its final form. I kind of feel like it's a little too watery right now, but it will reduce just because it's uncovered. It'll reduce over time, so I think we're still okay on that front. I just have to be, because like if you look, you can still end up with clumps of that curry sticking to your spatula. So I just need to make sure that that I get this mixed in thoroughly and it doesn't have chunks of curry cubes in there, that it becomes a sauce the way it's supposed to. Abby says, Egypt has clear water beaches. I did not know that. Consider it my Americanized view of the country, but I purely picture it as desertous. I guess my African geography isn't that great, because I kind of felt like I thought Egypt was sort of landlocked, aside from, you know, the famous rivers there. What would the beaches be on the northern end of Egypt? Because I know Egypt is in northern Africa, coming up close to that kind of spindle of the world, right? Where the Middle East and northern Africa all kind of meet in that. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like the middle of a spoke on a bike wheel. There's just a lot that converges in that area. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to leave my spatula down in there for a second to melt that chunk off. It just doesn't want to come off of there. If not, I'll have to grab like a butter knife or something. There we go. Ah, okay, yes. Now, I'm looking at this, and I think I may have overcooked some of it a little bit, but I honestly think it's fine. The potatoes tend to kind of dematerialize in this somewhat. Like I'm not seeing as many defined potato cubes and chunks as I did in the beginning, but that's okay. It adds to the starchiness of the sauce, kind of gives it a little thick, it thickens it a bit. The Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea border it. You know, I feel like my basic Bible knowledge should have told me that, but I totally blanked on it. So I'm slightly embarrassed now. Thanks. Thanks for reminding me of the fact that wasn't passive aggressive. Thanks for embarrassing me. You guys can embarrass me in the chat pretty much all day long. I just punch back. You know how we do here. Okay, guys. I think this is basically finished. All right, let's take a look at this. So, this looks awful. I know it kind of looks like dog food, but it's wonderful. I wish you could smell what I'm smelling. All right. So you take a scoop of this, you put it over rice, and that's how you do Japanese curry. So let's plate this up. Let's give you a look at the final result, and then I'm gonna get off of here and eat. All right, give me a second. Go back to wide. Let's grab a plate. Let's do it.
Lucky, huh? The kidnappers asked for $2.6 million, and that
Okay, there's our rice. We will grab a wooden spoon for the rice and a ladle for the curry. I can just turn the heat off of that. That's going to retain for long enough. And we used this burner earlier. I'm not really. I think I can set. I'm safe to put my plate there. It cooled down pretty quickly. That rice is looking a lot better than it was earlier. Kind of just needed to dry out a touch. It was just sticking to the fork so much that I was really concerned I had overcooked it. It looks a little fluffier than I expect for basmati. But you know what? Honestly, that's fine. It's really not bad. That is not in bad shape at all. So,
Where are those kids, Brad?
put that together. Get in here.
It wasn't supposed to happen this way, I swear. They were
Nice healthy scoop.
for a few hours.
And just like that. So, there it is. We'll plate it up. That's beautiful. All right. Thank you guys for joining me as Let Him Cook goes on the road. Remember that the brand new song, You Were Always Good, just came out on streaming just a few days ago. So go give it a couple spins, like it, add it to your playlist. That definitely helps. Remember that Stay, the song that came up before that, landed on 2 different Spotify editorial playlists. That was huge. We were stoked about it. I'm going to eat. Thank you guys for joining me. And we're going to go on the road again. Like I said, we're going to do some cooking with my friends in the future. So I will catch you next time.
Search history's been erased.
We got phones and ammonium nitrate.
Okay. I think we'll like it. It's simpler to work together. Very similar time. I've got it going. It's on the because I didn't know if I was going to have it. Oh, it's hard to estimate at first. I don't know. Didn't want to mess it up. Try cooking in front of people. You don't want to mess it up.